I already checked these before you got here. Hello, hello, hello. What is up, people of the interweb?
People of the interweb.
Interweb.
What is up?
What's up, guys? To episode 4 with Jared and
your co-host Grant.
Grant AF. I think that should be a thing. Grant AF.
Grant AF.
Like there's some we got to have a nickname for you.
I think we need like the DJ Era Grant.
DJ Era Grant AF.
Yeah.
It's like DJ Juicy. It's just like
DJ Juicy.
I don't know. Either way. What's up, man?
Nada. Just wearing my lucky shirt.
Fucking pugs.
Pug
I
shirt.
love dogs, but you need a pit bull shirt. That's not a puggle shirt.
Yeah. Not anywhere near as much.
Whatever. So what's up, guys? So if you didn't know, this is our weekly show we do. We started this on Facebook, but Facebook ended up being a fucking F-bomb, a fucking bitch, and wasn't behaving. So
yeah, kept kicking us off, and so now we're on YouTube.
And YouTube doesn't kick us off. So
we love you, YouTube.
Yeah, we love you, YouTube. I don't know. I was gonna say we love you, Steve Jobs, but that's Apple, not YouTube.
So topics tonight. I actually think this is going to be quite fun. So we've got getting overwhelmed, when the plan isn't working, and then I think this one will be kind of fun. Specific foods that make you fat.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be this one should be really good. I made a post on Facebook like 5 or 10 minutes ago, so to see if basically telling everybody to come over here and that way maybe get some questions. So either way, we're gonna see what happens. But yeah. So the fun part is, guys, is Grant and I don't prepare like what. It's like,
nope.
Like we didn't even talk about these. Like we were like both of us been running around like crazy, and I put those for today's topics because like I think because you were having issues thinking of specifics to talk about today.
Sometimes you really get like content block.
Yeah, content block is a real thing. So yeah, content block is a real definite thing. But so this is what we're going with today. And hang on, Shelby just told me something about the link I made with the post on Facebook. And
is it a bad link?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's another Jared. Shout out to the Mrs. Hamilton.
Wait. So we linked something that was that guy?
No, like I put in Jared Hamilton. It pulled up in that Jared. And what happened though was it puts the thumbnail.
We could bring him on here and see if he's.
I think someone said I think you tagged the wrong Jared. You aren't a 22-year-old child or what man child. That's funny.
I mean, that's not entirely
right.
Accurate.
All right, on here. You okay? So you're gonna start because I got to take care of this damage I've caused. So
So I guess we're gonna talk about getting over. So I guess there are. Man, I mean, you can get overwhelmed with like anything.
Like contextually, like specifically though, let's talk about getting overwhelmed, like
with food, with the gym, with
all of it,
Like
because most people, at least with that, because like so many. I was just on the phone with a lady today that when it comes to like so many options and so many, like this person says don't touch carbs. This person, like me and you, say do eat carbs, but fasted cardio, but don't do fasted cardio. There's just so many options, and it's so frustrating, which we'll get into like when your plan's not working.
Right.
Just overall being overwhelmed with this process and how you help combat that with your people.
So I guess we'll just start with like getting overwhelmed with food, I guess. So guys, I'm going to just simplify this and just right out of the gate, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight.
100%.
So take that and run with that. Anything that you hear that's contradictory to that, know that it's bullshit. And yeah, it's so when it comes to food itself, you really don't need to get overwhelmed with that. And if you do, just remember that it's really not that hard. You just need to be in a calorie deficit and then you will lose weight. The one thing that you really need to keep in mind and keep track of is your protein. So me personally, I recommend that anyone get anywhere from 0.5 gram to 1 gram per pound lean body mass. And I really want to emphasize lean body mass.
Right.
So like, if you are a 100-pound person and let's say that you've got of fat, that does not mean that you need to eat 300 grams of protein per day.
Yeah, I do. I see that all the time. I'll get people there that they'll take that 1 gram per pound too literally. And they're like, someone who would lean body weight, weigh like 160 pounds, like 350.
Right.
And it's like, how do I eat 350 grams of protein a day?
Yeah. So like for my clients and stuff, depending on like, kind of where they are. I'll recommend them anywhere from half a gram to a gram. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, food's really not that bad. I know we've said on here before that there's no inherently bad food. So, like literally whatever you eat that. Make sure that you have your protein in check, and that's what you need.
Yeah. A lot of the big reasons people get so overwhelmed is
The amount of information
is
that's out there.
overload on information. Because here's the thing, information's free as fuck. And we know when it comes to free shit, we don't value it as much. Like you ever heard like the saying, the best things in life are free?
Mhm.
I think that's bullshit. I think the best things in life are really fucking expensive. And then the next best things are free. So that's the thing, is when we take in copious amounts of information all over the place, there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
It's like you got that's one of the things I suffer from. I have issues with this with my athlete coaching clients, because most coaching, or most clients of mine who are like high school and collegiate athletes, have a strength coach. They have a dietitian they're
Right.
working with. They have a bunch of people who work in the school system that think that used to be a quarterback, so they want to chime in on everything. So then they're not getting. Then they have usually a skills coach. So like they're going to like a speed school or a pitching coach. Words.
The spibbity-boop.
Yeah, a pitching coach or a hitting coach. So up to 4 or 5 now.
Right.
And then we've got anything falling through the cracks. Then like,
And what do you think the chances are them agree on?
yeah,
agreement?
and then they bring me like to pick up this word. I can't tell you how many
Right.
high school and collegiate athletes I've worked with. I just finished working with one of them
And that can
tonight.
and that can be a nightmare.
And we have like now that's 6 coaches.
Right.
And most coaches think every other coach is a fucking idiot in this context. So it's easy to get overwhelmed with information. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all of this. So a lot of it, I think, is once you pick who you're going to listen to, get rid of everything else.
Yeah. Now, would you say that? I mean, obviously, you don't want to listen to someone that's that's not informed. But would you say that most of the time it would be better to just find one sole person and just whatever they say, just kind of go with it?
Yes and no, because then at the end of the day, it's like everybody's skilled at different stuff. So like for me in like my life, I've got like even like let's kind of in a similar industry, let's say business. So I've got a couple big business mentors, but we're talking like 2.
Right.
There's a big difference between listening to 2 and pulling you and listening to 7.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
And and that actually made me think, like, if you do have multiple people saying multiple things, it's very rare, and I think you'll probably agree with this, that they flat out disagree, right? So like we might get into the nitty-gritty about like, okay, maybe our carb to fat ratio at the most optimal level possible should be this and this, but both of those people will probably agree and should agree that like, the foundational, you need to get your protein in check and you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight.
See, this is the issue though. This is why you and I exist, because there's so much fucking bullshit in this space. More than, I mean, honestly, dude, way more than I thought. That's why like I feel like sometimes it's like, I don't know, man.
Instagram has made me lose a lot of
faith.
faith.
Like honestly, man, it hit the point one time where I'm like, I contemplated not doing this because of the copious amounts of bullshit. Like the fact that like every person on the planet thinks carbs store fat, and then like just the bullshit here, the bullshit there, everyone trying to unethically sell you box teas and supplements, all this crazy stuff. The level of shit and lack of integrity and just literally the bullshit being spewed everywhere. There was a time where it made me almost want to not do this.
Yeah.
But then the very what word am I looking for? Then the other side of me says, no, it's almost my duty to fix it. Where it's like, what a bitch mentality. There's too much, I can't handle it, and I step away. Right. But I'm like, no, it's my duty to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's where like what I do and you and I do come in. But I think where a lot of people get overwhelmed is just the crazy amount of information in everyone's thought process. But here's the thing. Now, I think first and foremost, people listen to too many people, because if you but then again, I totally get it from like, well, Jared says 1, but Grant says 3 minus 1 is 2, but John says 4 divided by 2 is 2. But then like someone says 1 plus 7 plus 16 minus this plus this, take the square root of this, says it's 2. Where they're not all wrong, but it doesn't help. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think part of it with getting overwhelmed is figure out why you're getting overwhelmed. And more than likely it's an information overload. Then get rid of a lot of the reason for the information overload, like it with a bunch of people and whatnot. But I feel like people need to be a way more picky and choosy who they get their information from. We should talk about that. Like who do actually choose? How do you actually go about listening to someone?
I mean, because hell, you and I talk about this because we have two people that are kind of like the high ups in the fitness industry, where flat out, I mean, they are literally some of the most established
smartest
people, the brightest minds in the industry, and they literally have these kind of petty little back and forths where one camp thinks that this person is not only doing the wrong thing, but something that is just just excessively detrimental to like your health. And these are both the greatest minds in the industry.
Yeah.
And so, so how do you do it?
Right. Like I would say like on your, like, it's a little bit different than like the average listener, because for example, I don't know, maybe it's just the conversations I'm listening to versus when you're listening to. So the most people that I talk to that are confused and overwhelmed, they're listening to a few professionals as far as like personal trainers and coaches like you and me, but a lot of it is from like their fat cousin who's hopped on keto for the third time,
right.
Or like, well, they heard on Dr. Oz talked about this new celery juice bath, and then this thing is trending on Instagram about you rub this weird fat cream on your skin that somehow burns fat but doesn't burn your skin or melt your hair off, and I feel like when it comes to that kind of stuff, like there's a difference. Like Dr. A says this and Dr. B says this. It's like that's different versus like most people listening to the people who zero success.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying like every person that you has to be shredded or has to be all this crazy stuff, but they have to have at least a good track record. Because don't get me wrong, I've been fat and coached people, like, but I also have a track record of success with that. I have helped,
Right.
So I feel like though too many people are listening to people who,
I mean, I guess that's probably the best way to look at it is, seek someone out like us who have actually helped a variety of people,
mm-hmm.
Because the thing, like, what'd you say, your fat cousin Bill?
Yeah, I was like too many people are listening to their fat cousin who's done keto for 3 times and they keep regressing back.
Right. I mean, you think to yourself, how many people
really people get too nosy in other people's businesses, whereas you may have been successful with keto and enjoy it somehow. But like you hate carbs. Let's say you're intolerant to half the carbs, like you're intolerant to potatoes and fruit, which isn't a thing. But I love carbs. So just because Grant had success with one thing doesn't mean I would be successful with it.
Right. And kind of to backtrack what I was saying. So that said, all of these diets, they all have one thing in common, a calorie deficit. So if you lose weight in a ketogenic diet, it is because you are eating below your maintenance.
Not ketosis?
Yeah. I mean, if you're eating, the paleo diet or
fasting
or whatever. I mean, the one common theme throughout all of them is that you are eating in a calorie deficit.
Mm-hmm. In an extended period of time, because most they say I was in a calorie deficit, I didn't lose weight. How long? 2 weeks.
Right.
Oh, wait, whoa, 2 weeks? Whole 2 weeks. Bro, you could not brush your teeth for 2 weeks and not have a cavity. Like, come on.
Right.
But I think a lot of it, like, I like to compare it to this because I'm like the king of analogies and I love analogies. You would not take, I made a post about this, a tweet, and I posted on Instagram, and I just got so much fucking hate, which is the boat a little bit. But I basically said, would you take money advice from your broke friend who bounces from job to job to job to job, then tries to give you money advice?
Mm-hmm.
Would you? He's currently broke, and then he can't hold down a job, and he's always blowing all his money and going back to being broke when he does get money.
Right. So then why do that with perpetual?
Yeah. So I say it's the exact same thing with dieting. Why listen to so I say you're broke